PJ and Sean are back to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze, and the following definitely will contain coarse language. Uh, so you saw this film for the first time today.
Yes,
Uh, uh, I of course saw it when I was a kid, and I loved it as a kid, but I don't like it now so much. I
that
think it's a
happens.
pretty, I think it's a pretty stupid movie, but it has its charms. Like
Yeah,
if you took the turtles out of it completely, it would be unwatchable.
it would be one of those red letter media best of the worst action films.
Yeah. So the first thing you noticed, did you notice that they changed April?
Yeah,
Yeah. She's like she doesn't have a big part in the
you
movie and she kind of disappears at the end.
you told me beforehand.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh yeah, I did, yeah.
I don't know if I would have noticed. Maybe, maybe. I think the acting is not as good.
No. And no Casey Jones.
That's a continuity error, isn't it? I feel like he
Yeah,
should be there.
the movie seems to pick up like maybe a week or two after the first
Yeah,
one.
it's pretty much. Yeah, I wouldn't even say that far. I'd say like maybe
A couple of
yeah,
days.
a couple of days. Shredder is basically uh he just stands up from where he was dumped. So he couldn't have been dumped. They don't keep the trash in the truck for like a week.
Yeah. Well, I think they didn't put him in the movie because he was a bad influence. It's all about those parents complaining about that first movie. Uh,
Well, he could have had an arc. He could have evolved and grown.
that little documentary I sent you, you should watch that at some point because it does explain why they changed the tone for the second movie, why they made it more kid friendly, more colorful and goofy. And you notice in the first scene that they're using everything but their weapons.
Yeah.
Leonardo uses his swords to pierce the ceiling and jump up, but that's it.
I think that's because well, you told me that beforehand too, so I was looking for that, and I noticed mainly because well, you had told me, and so I was looking for it. But I think the piercing of the swords, like stabbing the swords into the ceiling, that would have been the giveaway for me. I think.
Yeah. Um, this guy Kino, the delivery boy, right? Little fact: he was a stunt performer in the first. I think he is in the second movie as well, but I know he did a lot of like flips and stuff as a turtle in the first movie, and they wanted to put him in here. And I actually appreciate the fact that they put like a human character who has, you know, martial arts special abilities, and the fact that the turtles are a little more goofy. They're still like cool moves and it's 90s shit. It's good for the 90s. But nowadays that kind of action is considered kind of clunky and slow. But some of those scenes with that.
It depends. It depends on what they're doing. Um, I felt the action, and I don't know much about martial arts, right? But I felt like it wasn't as good in this one as it was in the first.
there are
Um,
there are a lot less hits, like hard hits. It's a lot of tripping and kind of tomfoolery. But
maybe.
the hardest hitting scenes are the ones where Kino's trying to be recruited into the foot,
Mm.
and he's fighting that guy. I think that's the most violent scene in the entire movie.
I liked Kino. I liked that character. He was the best like new addition, I think, to the movie, to the franchise.
Do you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
No.
Okay, well, there's the woman from Curb Your Enthusiasm plays April's upstairs neighbor who complains, or downstairs neighbor who complains about the noise
Okay.
at the beginning of the film. You just see little actors here and there. The director of the film, uh, Michael Pressman, he plays April's boss, who is not the same guy from the first movie. They completely got rid of him and Danny. I imagine like there
But
was,
they kept the same police chief.
yeah, and he sucks in this. He's good in the first, and he's very dismissive. He's like, "That's what we do best is nothing," or something like that. And April's like, he's like, "What do you want me to do about it?" She's like, "I don't know." The dialogue's really bad and clunky, and nothing goes anywhere. It's just a series of events that leads to a stupid little rap concert at the end and Super Shredder, which is the worst thing of all.
It is very much one of those movies where you have just things happening on screen. They're not necessarily connected. They're connected because the movie wants them to be or
Yeah,
says they are, but they're not. They're just it's just things happening. Um, Kino is kind of different though. I think that Kino is kind of in a way the strange little thread that manages to keep this thing moving.
yeah. Some of the best parts in the movie is him and Raph
Hmm.
sneaking in and doing that thing with the foot. That was actually my favorite part of the movie as a kid. And Raph, I mean the turtles in general, but Raph has a really expressive face, and I find the animatronics are like really are a little superior to the first one.
Yeah, the turtles are better animated in this one, and so is Splinter.
Yeah,
Um, and
that
he was
could
already really good in the first one.
that could be due to the fact that they probably had a lot more film to do multiple takes, as in the first one they probably couldn't
Hmm.
do too many takes and had just kind of had to go with. Uh, but of course, they do record over those lines in ADR, so
Hmm.
yeah, they sync it up pretty well. Um,
Yeah, no, it worked.
so David Warner is in this movie. He plays the professor.
Hmm.
Were you surprised to see like an actual real actor in the movie?
Um, Not really.
It's a waste
But
of his talents.
I think that's a thing from nowadays though. Like if it were back in the day, if I were watching this for the first time in '91, maybe I would have been surprised. But nowadays, I find that there are very talented actors that just they find themselves in these very like really strange projects nowadays, and so it's kind of become like commonplace, I suppose. So that's why I wasn't too surprised.
And
I,
we
I
can't.
didn't I
Go ahead.
didn't dislike his character though. I
Yeah,
didn't actively dislike him, but I like you kind of understand what kind of character he's going to be. Not straight away. At first, when he's doing the interview, you're kind of like, okay, he's but then you kind of understand where they're going with it. He's the kind of mad scientist kind of guy. Um,
he's a fairly generic kind of like science dude.
yeah, but they
With
never
a
make
Brit.
him mean or bad,
No,
right?
no.
He's kind of shady because they when they lost the original canister of ooze, they never really went and got it. They were just like,
Yeah,
just cover it up. It's fine. So he's
his
kind of sleazy.
his character should have been Baxter Stockman. Baxter Stockman is a scientist. He starts off good, but he transforms himself into a fly. And in the 2016 Ninja Turtles, instead of Toka and Razor, it's Rocksteady and Bebop, and uh, Doctor Baxter creates them.
Okay.
And and I guess you don't know this, but a lot of kids were wondering where Rocksteady and Bebop were because they're the two other mutants that they go against in the cartoon.
Mm.
And so they kind of put Toka and Razor in the second one. I guess because they couldn't do a rhino and a warthog properly or something. I don't know, because that's what Rocksteady and Bebop are. But this is their solution to Rocksteady and Bebop. And I found even as a kid they were really cool looking, but I was like, this is why couldn't they just do Rocksteady and Bebop?
I guess it's for coherence because this movie is searching for that logic. And they're in New York City. Shredder, as much as he wants to be like a well, he's no longer the leader of an international crime syndicate or whatever. He's a guy that's coming out of the dump and he wants revenge. And so he's got to find two things real quick. I'm surprised he didn't find a pigeon, right? Like
Yeah,
he still managed to find like a wolf. Where the hell did he get that? Um,
and a
in a
snapping
zoo.
turtle.
And a snapping turtle. I'm assuming he went to get them at the zoo, but like his kid ninjas, his teenage minions couldn't possibly like they got a wolf, which was impressive. They couldn't go and capture a lion or something. They would have
Mm.
gotten eaten.
And it's all played for jokes anyway, even though they show that they are, dangerous and strong. I
I
like
was
how,
disappointed they were stupid.
yeah, but
At
that's,
first they make them stupid, but then they also make them children. I'm like,
mm.
okay, so they're gonna grow up, and then they drop the line of like they're stupid children. I'm like, and then so they don't really like. That's just how they are. They're like dumb. I was like, oh, that's a shame. I wanted them to kind of like, their intelligence was supposed to enhance itself, I suppose, with like the others.
Oh, they didn't put any thought into that at all.
I think they did actually, because then the scientist dude, I forget it. I forget the character's name.
uh, Professor Perry.
Professor Perry. He says at one point that he put when they're doing the like the whole laboratory scene, well, the kind of a science scene, but in the sewers,
Yeah.
he explains that he put like a toxin or something, didn't he? He explained something like that when he mixed it up when he mixed up the ooze to create uh what are they called,
Mm.
Toka and
Toka and
Reza.
Ray. Yeah. Um, Perry. I'm just reading this. Not Perry is forced to use the remaining ooze on a wolf and a snapping turtle, which mutate. Blah blah blah. It doesn't say anything.
What does
Yeah, but
TGRI stand for? Does that stand for something?
Techno Global Research Industries.
Okay.
See, the whole thing about, okay, you got two animals in a big cage, and the wolf and the snapping turtle are in there together, and he sticks like this tube, and it's just like what spills on the floor, and they go over and lick it up. Like, and then when they come out, they're like, "Mama, mama," and he's like, "It's so it is childish, I understand that." But even as a kid, I was like, "Man, they're making Shredder into a bitch. Like they're just he's
So
not
you
intimidating in the movie at all."
so you were
There's
7, 8 when this came out. This one,
yeah, 7.
7.
When there's one part where he's scary in the movie. I found, like, not now, but that one actual part of very suspenseful part for me as a kid. But I enjoyed the movie as a kid. But this is the part that scared me when they were all in the net, and he's like telling the crane operator to move it over to the spikes so that they fall on the spikes. I'm like, yeah. And then Splinter saves them like he's Rambo or some shit. And I was like, yeah. I remember as a kid, that whole junkyard scene was my favorite part because there's a really cool shot where one of the monsters picks up, I think it's Raphael or somebody. No, no, it's Leonardo, I think, and throws him like way into the air, and he goes through the roof. I thought that was a pretty cool looking stunt. And other than that, like, I don't know. There's a funny line in the movie where Toka and Reza are beating up the street and knocking down poles and stuff.
I didn't understand that. I was like, what is this?
It's just so they can get the rocks off, I guess. Like this is them having fun, and he's like letting them play, getting them riled up or something. That's stupid. But the woman says, "Let them get their own cab."
Which was a reference to the it's a turtle in a trench coat.
Yeah.
Um, I originally thought that moment was like they're going to attract the Ninja Turtles, and like this is what they're doing. Their plan is to kind of like he set these guys loose because he wants the turtles to intervene, and then there's going to be like a fight. There's going to be a showdown in the street. But then you just cut to in the morning,
Mm.
everything's
Yeah.
broken in the street.
It's just an arbitrary nonsense scene that they put in there for the kiddies. It's like, look how these guys are destructive and strong and stuff. But the only times they're actually those characters are interesting is when they're flicking the turtles around like they're rag dolls. Like that. That's the kind of stuff I like.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah. the one liners out the yin yang. You can't count how many one liners. Uh, it's quiet, a little too quiet. It's Raph, yeah, a little too Raph.
I, I mean, they're very self-conscious though. Like they know that they're saying just it's not even garbage. It's just corny shit, right?
There's some
Um,
unintentional comedy in there too, like things I
mm.
don't think they meant to. I'm gonna I'm gonna try to pull up a line, and it's when you hear it, it's gonna be hilarious. Shit.
Well, what I
Okay.
found funny was the computer, right? They're
Mm,
looking at the computer and everything is called like what are they, disposed, and then one of them's active, and it's got this like active is written twice the size as disposed, and I found that funny. And then he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna hack the computer, whatever it is." It's like he's just typing this password, and then it's the wrong password, and then the whole computer there's like a do, and then all of these the picture breaks down into pieces. I was like, this is like the
well, it's pretty generic '90s slash '80s computer
this is
jargon.
this is how you depicted computers on screen,
Yeah,
or how
and
Hollywood
at, and
depicted computers.
and at the time when you saw a cheap ass computer, well, not cheap at the time, but when you saw a computer like that in a movie, it's like, oh, now shit's getting serious. Like, that was a big thing. Like people using computers and VR and all that. Remember Weird Science back in the day? It was one of the first movies I ever watched as a kid, and which is, I guess, inappropriate, but yeah, it's not that bad a movie, but uh, one of the first movies to show people using the internet and how that worked. And of course, they create a woman, and people are like, wow, you can do that with computers. Like stupid people would say that, right? It's like, no, you can never do that with a computer. Maybe in 400 years, maybe, but not now. But yeah, they always do that with computers, like to just tap 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 tap. It's like he knows computers like Jurassic Park. The girl, she knows it. She gets on the computer and she knows exactly.
What was that movie that I saw with Sandra Bullock? I think it is. Is
The
it Sandra
net.
Bullock or yeah, The Net? God, maybe that was cool when it came out.
Hold on 1 second. Okay, listen to this.
Where's Splinter? He's been up on the roof ever since he saw your report. Really? Doing what? Coming to
Oh God, gold. Hope I don't get a. I'll get a strike for that.
I didn't catch that. I didn't even catch that in the movie. I was focused on the events. I was focused on the actions.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I
So,
feel like they turned up the I don't even know how to say this. They turned up the Asian cliche on Shredder's second in this one.
oh yeah,
Like he's got more of an accent. He's talking deeper. He's
I
ninjas vanish.
I think that's yeah, I think that's that guy's real accent though.
But it sounded more in this one because I feel like
Oh
he
yeah,
did
he,
say,
he he does that thing with his voice. He makes it very deep and a
mm,
lot of gravitas. Yeah, Tetsu is his name. Yeah,
Tetsu.
I liked him much better in the first movie. I can't even remember what he does in this movie. Like he's there, and
Nothing
yeah.
much. I think. Well, he has that scene where he's like, "I'm the leader now. Does anyone want to challenge me?"
Oh yeah, and he
But it's like,
gets.
dude, you're an adult.
Mm,
No one's gonna. These are kids, right? You're supposed to be like, I suppose, a ninja for like you've been a ninja for a long, long time. These guys are new recruits. No one's gonna challenge you. And then Shredder pops out. He's like, I'm alive. I didn't
uh,
mind Shredder though in this movie. I found him. I actually liked the fact that he's like, I don't want to do anything else than just I want my revenge. That's my focus. I want to do that. And then I also like the fact that he's like he admits that he was beat. Like he says the foot was beat by these ninjas because they're mutated freaks. So we're not going to try and do it again. It doesn't work. what we're gonna do is we're gonna create mutated freaks as well,
Yeah,
and I like that. That made sense.
yeah. Uh, it's good to see in this movie like one of the a very very prestigious, well respected, very successful artist called Vanilla Ice uh, in this movie.
It's like they had MC Hammer for the first one, so they had to bring in Vanilla Ice for the second.
Did you know he was in this?
I had no idea that he was gonna pop up in this.
The Ninja Rap
Um,
was a song back in the day, man.
oh
Ninja,
my,
Ninja Rap. It's so bad.
it's not a good song, and in universe it doesn't work at all. It's like it feels like they try to pretend that he's inventing the song, like he just invents the song because there's ninjas.
Yeah.
Um, but he already has like all the dance moves figured out. Um, I don't know. It's, it's just like, and that club manager. Oh my
Oh
god.
yeah.
I'm sorry, dude, but he can't act.
Oh yeah.
That was just
Tell,
so bad.
tells the guy to call the cops, and then he's like, "No, they're loving it."
They're loving it, dude. Oh my god. It was just. Uh, and no one has a problem. Like, what is this club where they have no. Like, there's four giant turtles that can speak in the ninjas. They break through a wall, fighting like a mutated wolf and a snapping turtle. Everything looks like they come at a rampage. Um, and people just keep on partying. Like it's fine, dude. Whatever.
You know what I think? I think most of the movie was written in about probably a day or two, and then they couldn't figure out how to end it, and then uh, they just asked like some people to be in it to make some kind of cameo, and they asked Vanilla Ice, and Vanilla Ice agreed. And I was like, okay, we got to shoot this tomorrow. Let's write the end of the movie. And that's what they did. And they just like, let's work out some choreography. And they did everything with blocking and stuff like that. And like, story be damned. And then they're like, what do we do with Shredder? Okay, at the end, he drinks the stuff and he becomes Super Shredder. And his suit mutates as well for some reason. His clothing mutates along with him. And
Everything, all of it.
kids are dumb, so they won't question this. I actually had the figure, the Super Shredder action figure as a kid.
It felt like the when you finish a video game, like you do the final boss, but then the final
Yeah.
boss comes back. It's like there's a
Yep.
Bowser comes back, right, like as a different in a different form or whatever. It felt kind of like that. It's like we'll finish the movie, we'll finish the fight, we've gotten rid of the other two, um Toker and Razor, and but no, you got Super
Mm.
Shredder.
I love how Leonardo pleads with me. He's like, "You're gonna kill us all, man." And so Shredder's like, "So be it. I'm jacked up, man. I don't give a fuck."
Did they change the voice actors for the turtles?
Um, in the first one, Donatello is voiced by Corey Feldman,
Okay,
that '80s actor dude.
all
Um,
right.
and he's a different actor in the second one, and the rest are the same. Oh no, Raph is different. Raph is both played by and voiced by a different guy.
Okay.
In the first one, and you might recognize the actor who plays Raph. He's in a lot of stuff. He's in Ray Donovan. I don't know if you ever watched that.
No, I've been told to watch that, but
And every time you see him in a show and he gets angry, you hear Raphael. It's fucking weird.
um, yeah, no, the one I forget which one in particular, but there was one in particular where the voice didn't sound the same at all. Like I was like, this is almost like
Yep.
a different accent that they've given this turtle.
Donatello.
Okay,
It's definitely Donatello. Raph, actually, the guy who does Raph sounds just like the first guy.
okay.
Like you would think it was the same actor, but it's not.
So
Uh,
so it's Donatello that has this different, but it's almost like a different accent. Or maybe it's the different pitch.
yeah, Donatello sounds completely different from the first one. In the first one, he's like well, you picture Corey Feldman, but he's kind of like, hey, hey, like this. And this one, he's more articulate, and
Mm,
they make
yeah,
it a point. They make it a point to make him the smartest one and the tech guy, which they didn't really explore. that much in the first one.
Yeah,
But
they did that. We were talking about in the first one how like they never really show that this guy's the intelligent, like the smartest of the bunch. This time they do. He's the guy that's like using the computer,
yeah.
and then he's the guy that's doing the like the special magic potions with scientist man. Um,
Mm.
they drop a pizza in it, and I feel like that would have fucked it up. But whatever.
They drop a pizza.
Yeah, they drop a pizza slice in the concoction that
Oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And I feel like that would have completely screwed up. Like I feel like this is delicate, delicate chemistry here, but maybe not.
No, I don't know. What did you? What did you? I can't wait for you to watch the next one. You're gonna be like, man, that second one was a masterpiece.
I'll tell you what, I was expecting this to be way worse than what it was. I was expecting this to be like it's a step down,
Mm,
granted, and you can really feel that they tried to change like the vibe, that they were really going for kind of a young and dumb on this one.
yeah,
More so than in the first. But it wasn't. It's not like a cliff drop, because there are things that are better, like the animatronics are kind of better. The turtles are done better, as you say, like the syncing with the voices and all that. That's done kind of better.
yeah. I don't understand the
Generally
type.
speaking, I prefer generally speaking I prefer Kino to Casey
Okay,
as a
yeah.
character. That doesn't make the movie better, but I prefer like the character from the second than the character from the first.
At
I
least
don't get the
Kino
whole
can.
ooze thing though.
Yeah, the title makes it's just nonsense. It's like the secret of the ooze, but it's not. There's no secret. They know. They
But
know.
I don't understand why there's this whole thing like we can finally get the answers to our past. I'm like, but you have. We saw the flashback scenes in the first one. It was explained. There's a can of ooze. It fell on the ground. You guys walked in it and said pizza.
Yeah, I guess the secret that's being revealed is they know the company it's coming from, and they have to go
But then
investigate it.
Splinter knew that all along. You could have just told them.
Yeah, and it's only
They
the
could have got.
new. It's the news report that makes him bring it up again. But yeah,
Yeah,
he could have. He
They
could
could
have
have
just told him.
confronted this company 15 years ago.
Yeah, but
The
just
yeah the
for plot convenience sake, it's only happening now.
they were too busy doing other shit.
Well, they are only like 16 years old or something like that. 15, 16 years old. No, 15. They're still 15, I guess.
So how does that work? The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, what? Because like their aging process, their human style aging process began when they got hit by the ooze, like when they walked in the ooze. Is that it? Because I imagine they were alive long before they walked into that ooze, or they were baby turtles maybe. New York.
Uh, mm, I don't know if there's any logic to it. Hey, interesting fact. Did you know that that TCR, what is it? Whatever it is. TGRI? TGIF? Oh,
TGRI.
yeah, the TGRI comes from Daredevil, the Daredevil comic.
Okay.
And the joke in the comic was that the ooze that blinded Matt Murdock mutated the turtles. I'm pretty sure. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, so
Well,
like,
I watched the Marvel Daredevil, the Netflix Daredevil show, and they did it differently.
oh, I think it was called TCRI in the comic or something, or in Daredevil. The chemical that blinded Daredevil is responsible for the turtles. Yeah, it's just like a little because the guys who made the comic were big fans of Daredevil.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't
So
necessarily show in this movie, does it?
now it's you can tell the lighting's different. It's lit. The actual guy, Michael Pressman, he's a TV director, so he lights things like you would a TV set. So everything's there's a lot of fill light and there's not a lot of shadow.
Mm. it's not as well directed. Like there's no, you could sense in the first one that they were trying to go for something, whereas this one it was like film the action, like film what's happening and then move on
It's
to the
like go
next.
through the motions to put out this product by this date,
Yeah, yeah, that's it, right? It's
A-
like you
and
know, there's
make
no. I don't want to say there's no creativity to it because that's very mean. Um, but you get what I'm saying, right?
yeah, it's an exercise in like putting cool animatronics and like special effects on the screen with funny, goofy fighting and a lot of one-liners and just cram everything in there and please the kids, but maybe the more mature audience would look at it as it is just more of a product than the first one was. The first one was actually an ambitious, ballsy kind of independent film with a bit of grit, and it was actually well written and well acted. And this is taking that and just making it as uh, commercial. What's the word I'm using? What's the word I'm looking for? Commercially viable product it can possibly be for toy sales and such.
Yeah.
I bought the Super Shredder, so
Hey,
well,
there you go. Success. It
yeah.
worked.
So, would you give this movie a? What would you give it? A, a no or a yes?
um, I'll probably go a no for this one. Um, I'm a completionist, right? So like I don't care how shit this one or the next one will be. Like I just enjoy watching them because once I start something I like to watch them all. But like if you're interested in just watching movies that are entertaining, I wouldn't necessarily go down this road. You might not enjoy it. So it would be a no out of 10.
Yeah, I'd give it a no as well because I'm grown now, and it's funny. It's funny how that first one still stands up even like into adulthood, and then the second one you're like, oh, I get what they were going for. There's, and you know what? That was in a sense that kind of ruined it. Uh, I mean, it's an entertaining enough movie when you just switch your brain off, but it's it was a step down, yeah, in terms of story and like character development and all this. Just kind
Well,
of a flashy show.
the first one I wouldn't necessarily recommend to everyone, right? Like first one, I would, yeah, I would recommend. I would say yes, but it's not something that I would actively go around promoting to all of my friends or to everyone that wants to see movies. Like, oh, you've absolutely got to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from
If
1990.
if you know somebody who's into weird cult movies or cult classics, this
Yeah,
would be one of the
or just
ones
someone
or
that
the first one.
enjoys movies in general, like someone that really enjoys movies, and that's interested in seeing like different things. You're like, hey, check out this. This could work. The second one, I don't think it's necessary. It's kind of like the Men in Black 2. Men in
I
Black 2,
feel
I used to love Men in Black 1 and 2 as a kid. And when they released the third one, I thought I'll rewatch them both before the third one comes out. And then you kind of like all of a sudden you become conscious of how stupid you were as a kid. You're like, oh shit, I used to love this. Men in Black 2 is awful.
oh, it is. I saw it in theaters. I hated it. I was like, oh, what a step fucking down this was. Like it really was the secret of the Ooze of Men in Black movies. It was where they took the first one and they stripped it of every bit of seriousness and weight, and they just said, "We'll make this a cartoon straight up." And there's some emotional stuff in the second one, like Rosario Dawson's character. But I maintain, man, the third Men in Black I think is the best one.
I agree.
I think it's the most well made out of the three.
I agree.
Uh,
I think you can watch the first and the third, and you have like the Men in Black
duology.
story. Yeah,
Yeah.
story. That's all you need. Because the fourth is an embarrassment.
I forgot that existed. That's how bad it is.
Men in Black
It's like,
International.
oh yeah, it's like, oh yeah, there was a fourth one. Yeah. All right,
They
so we'll
swept
leave
that
it.
under the rug.
Oh yeah. I just heard a horn. Thought it was on my end for a second. Uh, so You're gonna watch the third one, right? And we're gonna
I
be
am.
back here. Okay.
Oh, we're gonna be back here. That's fine.
That should be the most interesting discussion because we're gonna tear it apart. No, you know what? You could come back and say, "Man, you know what? That third one was pretty good." I'm like, "What? Are
What?
you okay, man?"
I will come here with my honest opinions. Um, I don't know why, but I feel like I'm not gonna say it was good.
Oh yeah. Well, I told you it's not good, so it's
Yeah,
definitely not good. No,
based on
no.
your opinion.
You just look at stills from the movie and look how the turtles look fucking creepy, man. They don't look like the. I don't know if you know that, but yeah, they don't look the same. They
I'll
look
see.
weird. They look
I'll
weird.
see.
Anyway, we'll leave it there, and I want to thank you for joining me, Sean. And we'll be back to discuss the third movie uh, at some point in the near future. So thank you for listening, and have a great day.